Please tell family, Muslims and people of the Kyoan and Sinna Masjid and Muslim communities restructuring. Shukran.
Writer not a scholar. Information should be further confirmed by scholar, Imam. Jizya not a tribute tax. Translation of Holy Quran, verse 929. Until they pay the jizya, hearts subdued. Fuller translation. Until they give send the jizya, agree to what satisfy agreement, true feelings brought to moderation. Jizya being would satisfy coming to satisfaction. The word used with a gift send can support the word relating to agreement, what satisfy coming to agreement. In Hadith Quran the word jizya first is coming to agreement to satisfy peace agreement, normal living agreement, talks. The same is true in history and Hadith. And was agreement treaty to have peace, non-aggression, neutrality, alliance. And could include, but not need to include money for purpose of agreement. Groups agree on shared interests, security, needed communal services and pay regular money to have those interests or wanted services. In war, jizya could be word for neutrality, peace agreement and if money, shared interests, and or defense. Muslims only fight in self-defense or to protect defend people. To pay harm reparations would be a limited set end payments. Jizya is a neutral idea to explain how to manage agreement and money in state political agreement with not Muslim people. It could be possible Muslims give jizya agreement to not Muslim in situation it apply. And not Muslim peoples have their own words for peace agreement, reparations. The money for shared Muslim interests is zakat. Reparations Muslims should never fight but coming to normal relations follow Islamic agreement and money agreed would be rejoining together in Islam, zakat all Muslim community tax. Regular life money sharing in agreements do not need to be called jizya. Muslim would not call peace agreement to Muslims jizya because Muslims have Islam standards of agreement and living in zakat in the Quran. Federal state taxes in a nation unified do not need to be called jizya because a mutually agreed, neutral unified nation. And show the Quran give the purest and clearest idea. Muslims have a clear standards of agreement and living in the Quran. Cultural idea of jizya is said to have existed in Arabia before the Prophet and was offer of protection by tribe to another for payment. Jizya is a normal word to satisfy. The cultural idea it was used to mean protection for payment is no central to Islam and the purpose is original from the Quran. Tribute extortion. A hadith say some Christian asked the Prophet SWS to use the word sadaqah in place of jizya, supposedly because jizya idea equals tribute. It's possible the word sadaqah idea of charity was more favorable. The Prophet agreeing does not mean the cultural idea tribute was true to Islam. Could show past and modern people by interpretation of jizya in different texts see jizya as having idea of power, victor and conquered. But the Islamic idea was not similar to the cultural practice using similar word. The word not meaning tax on non-Muslim or defeated. It was not a tax on not Muslim peoples. Jizya is not tribute not paid by any form of oppression, suffering, not paid with people, slavery, not paid with marriage, not paid with sex. Jizya was given by fair measure and not punishing, not humiliating, not impoverishing, not oppressive. Quran continually command in living, peace talks, agreements to come to agreement, normal living, normal relating, peace, justice, fairness, equality, peace, goodness, respect to all people. In Muslim history, Islam support universal beliefs in justice, fairness, equality, respect of all peoples, and the earth created by Allah, being for all people. Free to live any place with respect, justice to people and nature. Faith-neutral approaches were used by the Prophet showing how Muslims can follow their faith purely and live in peace with other people's beliefs. The Prophet did have a multi-belief alliance of tribes, towns of Medina with an agreement charter similar to an independent state, with faith-neutral general agreement of security, defense, normal living, and tax money for shared interest services. Jizyah as only a regular word could have been, of many words used in agreements. The more clear agreements of Jizyah between the Prophet Muslim community and groups not Muslim was after the Battle of the Trench. Many tribes tried to destroy the Muslims' alliance. The battles of the Trench was not a victory for Muslims. The enemy alliance separated, disbanded by the mercy of Allah, by damage to their resources, by weather and long wanting because the Mode Trench stopped entry into Medina, and by feelings of wasted resources and lack of clear purpose beside bias. The idea the Prophet demanded tribes pay the Jizyah tribute and in turn be given protection is historically not accurate. After the battle, the Prophet visited a number of tribes, including those that fought. Tribes were suffering raids war by not Muslim groups, and worried other stronger tribe could try to force them into unfavorable alliance or pay tribute. The Prophet made agreement of peace or non-aggression with many tribes and offered support by Muslims if a tribe was wrongly attacked, showing traditional idea of protection for money or weaker group coming under protection of stronger, not the Islamic idea. Many tribes did not agree to help Muslims if they were attacked. Some tribes paid for agreed resources and some did not pay. It could be because they agreed to do own military protection. After groups offered alliance or normal relating, peace agreements made Jizyah agreements and money for shared interest. In other defensive fighting, group that fought the Muslims and were defeated made Jizyah normal relating, non-aggression, neutrality, peace agreements, and money paid. It is possible some money was a reparation payment for unjustly fighting a not aggressing group. Jizyah and Quran cover many important ideas of communicating and coming to just agreement, reparations, justice, rights of recovering expenses of self-defense, not aggression, shared interest and defense support payment to defend, and tax money for shared interests and services, not tribute or money paid to winning, more powerful group. During the caliphate of the rightly guided caliphs, non-Muslims in regions under Muslim governance continued their agreement or modified, and the money for services was collected from people of other beliefs living in regions of Muslim governance. It is said groups if agreed to do own military defense or did military service did not pay money with Jizyah agreement. Many peoples living as independent citizens provided regular services in Muslim-governed regions, gave Jizyah agreement of peace, neutrality, non-aggression and paid a general amount tax. In a Muslim state, not Muslim people's faith is respected. In Islam, people cannot be forced to follow the beliefs of Islam, meaning living in Muslim state. Not Muslim people are treated as independent, free to follow the laws of their beliefs. In shared society following neutral laws to have respect peace. In judicial interaction, beliefs of groups involved was looked at and the neutral agreed laws used to judge. Haram to be unfair. Jizyah shared interest service money given by independent groups, tribes, towns, regions, tribe nations, states, other N. Jizyah tax paid by people living not in organized groups by own interest to have state services was not more than zakat and fairly measured by shared interest, or if estate tax, measured by services given not more than Muslims or less. All Muslims man, woman, paid zakat man heads of house paying for all immediate family, or putting together. After the Prophet SWS, the rightly guided caliphs mostly followed the Prophet's practices in fairness and justice. Jizyah was the only tax collected from not-Muslim people. Some began using systems that favored some tribes over others, and some jizyah could have been collected not correctly balanced by method used. Under caliphs, Hazrat Ali, as all systems were returned to the practices of the Prophet. Jizyah agreement of peace and money for shared interests services was the only money collected from not Muslim men 20 to 50. Regions governed had people of different beliefs and hired people of different beliefs for many important responsibilities. Not simply because kindness is, but because Islam believes in equality of all people. Logically, there would be enough work for all beliefs, not changing Muslim community services volunteer work. After the rightly guided caliphs, some rulers were good, fair, and jizya was managed fairly, and some unjust and had unfair taxation on peoples not Muslims. Muslims were similar oppressed and those ruler goals were not Islam. In history, many rulers in Muslim-majority lands, in speeches Muawiyah, Nahul Balagha, told the under public rulership was their goal and religion was not their interest. It helped separate the unjust actions of rulers in history from Muslim and Islam. Muslims give correct, true history, and do not justify wrong, do not justify not equal treatment of people's beliefs, do not justify oppression in history. In Muslim history, there is much good, equality, respect for different people's beliefs, justice and sharing life together.
Please tell family, Muslims and people of the Kiowan and Sinna Masjid and Muslim communities restructuring. Shukran.